This is the ultimate guide to Nekajui, the Ritz-Carlton Reserve in Costa Rica. Whether you're planning a trip looking at the most exclusive resorts in Costa Rica, or you've already booked your stay at Nekajui, this is the guide that you're looking for. We're gonna look at the 6 luxury components that make Nekajui the pinnacle of prestige in Costa Rica. From the details on the beach cave, the treehouse suites, and the only funicular in Costa Rica, this will be a deep dive on all the details you need to know about Nekajui to plan your trip with confidence, to be able to stay at a rare property that not many people have access to. And I'll finish up by showing the icing on the cake, the beach cave that Travel + Leisure said was the best part of their trip. This video is not sponsored by Nekajui, not sponsored by Marriott, and they didn't even upgrade our room, even though we're Titanium Elite Bonvoy members, which I am totally not bitter about at all. So the opinions in this video, good and bad, are our own. So let's dive in to the ultimate guide to Nekajui, the Ritz-Carlton Reserve in Costa Rica. Again, we're gonna take a look at the 6 components of this resort to give you a full overview of everything you need to know. We're gonna start with the arrival. Whatever you've heard about the difficulty of driving in Costa Rica, even from me, doesn't apply on the drive to Peninsula Papagayo. A short 45 minutes from Guanacaste Airport, these are quite literally the nicest roads in Costa Rica. If you haven't stayed previously on Peninsula Papagayo, then you're in for a special drive just getting to Nekajui. Peninsula Papagayo has already been home for decades to Costa Rica's flagship luxury resorts. Places like the Andes and the Four Seasons have long been the reigning champions of luxury in Costa Rica, and it's in that context that you find Nekajui, the new Ritz-Carlton. As you arrive at Peninsula Papagayo, you'll pull up to a security gate where you have to register to get into the peninsula and onto the property. Once past the gate, you'll be immediately greeted by beautifully sculpted scenery everywhere you look. Peninsula Papagayo is 1,400 perfect acres of emerald jungle spilling out onto 13 postcard perfect beaches. We're talking howler monkeys, sapphire coves. I mean, the whole place feels like a national park that secretly earned a 5-star degree. Every bend in the road looks like you're driving through a screensaver, and every resort just drips with Costa Rican luxury. And that's just the drive down Peninsula Papagayo to get to Nekajui. As you pull up to the entrance of Nekajui, a second security gate is your last stop before luxury. They'll welcome you as the gate opens. You pull up outside of the casita where your manzu will be waiting for you. The casita is a small arrival pavilion where they'll offer cool scented towels, and you meet your manzu. Manzu is the Chorotegan native word for friend, and your manzu is your 24-hour personal dedicated concierge. Who are the Chorotega? And why should their story matter to you? Because the Ritz-Carlton Reserve never just imports luxury and plops it down in place. Rather, Ritz-Carlton prefers to bring in luxury infused with the original native history of the location, letting the region's heritage shape the entire property and the guest experience. Long before golf carts and infinity pools, this land was inhabited by the Chorotega people, and their language and customs set the tone throughout the resort. In fact, Nekajui is the Chorotega word for lush garden, and that's exactly what you're gonna find here. After your initial arrival and welcome to the property, your manzu will walk you around the property and just give you a full personal tour, answering any questions you have, making sure that you are set for a wonderful stay there. So let's do that for you now, walk you around the property and show you what Nekajui has to offer. As you step out the other side of the casita, you walk into the courtyard that feels like you stepped back in history into a traditional Costa Rican village. The ceiba tree at its center was ceiba. Is it pronunciation?
Ceiba.
The ceiba tree.
Ceiba.
Ceiba. Okay. The ceiba tree at the center of the courtyard was considered sacred by the Chorotega people. The tree of life, as it were, and they would build their villages around one of these trees. This is why here you have around the ceiba tree, the casita, the chapel, the casona, as well as off to the left here you'll find the concierge, the kids club, and other parts of the property. The little fountain they have there is even representative of a water trough that they would have given water to their horses upon arrival. As you walk past the ceiba tree and you see the chapel on your right, when we were there was a big celebration taking place in the chapel, so that was a neat thing to get to see. The chapel is obviously constructed according to traditional architecture and just a beautiful representation of a historic Costa Rican chapel. Just past the ceiba tree you have La Casona. In La Casona, or the living room, you'll find another greeting. It's said that when Costa Ricans welcome you into their living room, you have become part of the family. And that is exactly what they make you feel like when they offer you a welcome drink here, made from soursop leaves and other traditional Costa Rican ingredients. The cedar floors and incredible furniture also match the traditional style, and you can stop by the bar at La Casona for a drink, a charcuterie board, or some tapas anytime while you're there on the property. As you walk out the other side of La Casona to the lawn, this is when you're greeted by your first stunning view of the Pacific on your visit to Nekajui. This is probably our favorite view of the ocean in all of Costa Rica. Below the lawn is the family pool with plenty of chairs and cabanas, a great spot to relax and enjoy the day. And just below that is the adults only pool with a bit of a water wall, some more gorgeous views from every angle. Back up on the lawn, you can walk over to Cafe Rincon, where they say they have the best coffee in Costa Rica. And frankly, they're not playing around. And we'll talk more about Cafe Rincon when we get to the restaurants and the bars section of this video here in just a minute. Just down this walkway, you have several retail stores, the concierge, the kids club, the tour desk if you're looking to book any excursions. And from there, you can go down the stairs or the elevator to just outside of Puna, the main restaurant, which again, we'll cover in more detail in our restaurants and bars section. At the bottom of the steps here, you come out to Puna on the right and the suspension bridge on the left, with the funicular down to the beach straight ahead. The suspension bridge is very Costa Rica. If you've spent any time looking into a Costa Rican vacation, then you've seen myriads of suspension bridges through the rainforest. Across the country, suspension bridges have become a popular way to explore the rainforest in places like La Fortuna, Monteverde Cloud Forest. So for Nekajui to add something like this is so appropriate. It just makes you wonder why none of the other resorts have ever done this before. It's also just something special to walk across a suspension bridge to get to your room. But what you don't expect is for the view from the suspension bridge to be absolutely breathtaking. Honestly though, nighttime is really the best part of walking across this suspension bridge, because with everything lit up, you literally feel like you have been transported to the forest moon of Endor. And I mean that in the most romantic and luxurious way possible. It is really cool. But let's talk about the funicular. This is the only one in Costa Rica. Imagine stepping into a crystal clear glass elevator that transports you diagonally down the cliffside almost 200 feet through the jungle canopy. This glass cabin whisks you from the clifftop Puna restaurant straight down to Neri Beach Club in just a matter of moments, turning the ride itself into a moving postcard through the trees with the Sapphire Cove sparkling below. I mean, this is a movie as you're on your way down. This is the most Instagram-worthy commute in all of Costa Rica, as it takes you down to Neri Beach Club, the activity center, and ultimately the beach. You can also take the stairs 350 steps through the cliffside jungle to the beach, which you'll probably want to do at least once while you're there, because about 3/4 of the way down, there's a small hidden pool with a waterfall isolated in the jungle. It's not really a highly publicized feature of the resort, but it's almost like, man, they kind of missed out on an opportunity. They should make a bigger deal out of this. It's really cool. Whether you take the steps or the funicular, at the bottom, you'll come to Neri Beach Club. We'll talk more about Neri Beach Club in our restaurants and bars section, but just below Neri is the Adventure Club, where you can grab snorkels, stand-up paddle boards, you name it, and make your way to the beach. From there, you'll make your way down the path to the beach. These steps are not for someone in a wheelchair or a walker. They're not stroller friendly, but it's also not super far. Just before you get to the beach, you'll meet one of the Beach Boys.
Here are the Beach Boys.
Nope, not from the band.
I'm the beach boy.
But a guy who's there to help you with chairs and umbrellas, offer you a drink or some sunscreen, you name it, they've got it all down there. Very friendly, very helpful. He actually took a minute to walk us around, show us the beach, make sure we had our chairs and our umbrella, offer us some drinks, and he pointed out the trail and the beach cave to us, which honestly was our favorite part, and we'll get to the beach cave at the end of the video. But the beach is gorgeous. Just take a look at this. The sand is soft and deep. It's an interesting mix with some black sand in there. And there's plenty of places to either sit out and get some sun or to be able to hide under the shade of the trees along the beach. Closer to the steps is an area that's roped off so that boats and jet skis can't enter and swimmers can feel like they're protected. If you've been to any number of beaches, you know that just because a beach is beautiful doesn't make it great for swimming. In fact, some beaches are just downright dangerous to get in the ocean. But because of the protection of the cove and the gentle slope of the shore, this beach is highly swimmable. It's super chill. You're not gonna get hammered by waves here or deal with a big problem with rip currents. As you walk further down the beach towards the beach cave at the end there's a place for boats and jet skis to pull in and pick you up for water excursions and rentals. And at the far end, where the rocks wrap around the cove there is maybe one of the most perfect places for snorkeling in all of Costa Rica. So from the beach, let's just zoom out for a minute. Up here you have Nimbu Spa and Wellness. Nimbu is the Chorotega word for water. And that's very appropriate because this is a 27,000 square foot spa complex featuring Latin America's largest hydrotherapy pool and treatment cabanas suspended among the trees. It was raining when we were there, so we didn't get an opportunity to get in the hydrotherapy pool, but there are 8 treetop cabanas where you can get a whole range of spa treatments and luxury packages there. Right next to Nimbu, you also have the fitness center, which is by far the nicest hotel or resort gym that we have ever seen. Nice and cool and clean inside, with state-of-the-art brand new equipment, treadmills looking out into the jungle, plenty of cardio and weights, and even some equipment out on the balcony so you can do your workout while you enjoy the view. They even put some cool towels in a little fridge, some fruit and vegan protein snacks when you've finished your workout. If you're planning a trip to Costa Rica, then I want to encourage you to make sure you get our free Costa Rica travel guide. We've put that together as a PDF. It's free. I'll put a link to the description in that, and that's going to be really helpful in making sure that you're able to plan your trip to Costa Rica with confidence. So having now gotten an overview of the entire property at Nekajui, let's take a look specifically at the restaurants and the bars. Puna is the headliner. Located at the center of the resort, Peruvian star chef Diego Munoz has turned the cliff-top villa into a 5-course love letter to ancient Andean cooking. Here's a QR code to the menu for Puna, where dinner is going to be as much of an experience as it is a meal. With a fire-lit open kitchen, the restaurant interior is beautiful, while outdoor tables face the sunset, so dinner feels part theater, part pilgrimage. If you want to ride the funicular down again to Neri Beach Club, you can collapse into a chair or sit at a table and order anything from wood-fired tapas to gazpacho, served with drinks and DJ curated beats. Neri Beach Club itself almost feels like Swiss Family Robinson until you look over and see the pool and the waterfall and the lounge chairs. Neri means salt in Chorotega, which obviously is a nod to the lapping waves just a few steps away. And there is a pool here at the beach club where you can relax without being too far from the food and the drinks. As somewhat of a coffee connoisseur, Cafe Rincon was one of the highlights of our trip. You can start your day at Cafe Rincon, where leather-aproned baristas are dialing in single estate beans on a Chemex with a scale. If you know anything about third wave coffee, then this is going to be amazing for you. You're gonna love it. And if you don't have a clue what I'm talking about when I say third wave coffee, you're still gonna have the best cup of coffee you've ever had in your life. In fact, when we originally booked our stay at Nekajui and I saw the roaster in the photos, I just assumed that the roaster was there because, yeah, that's what you do in a luxury coffee shop, is you put a roaster there. And so it was really just kind of like luxury decor. But in actuality, this is a fully operational coffee roastery where they're actually bringing in green beans from around the country in 50-pound sacks and roasting them right there in that roaster to coffee beans that then they're taking and pouring for you into a delicious cup of coffee. This place is legit, and the baristas there are absolutely top-notch, with one of the best views of any coffee shop on the planet. Cafe Rincon also offers a gorgeous array of pastries and treats, gluten-free and vegan options, gelato, and a menu for both breakfast and lunch. Speaking of breakfast, let's talk about Mirador. In the mornings, Puna is transformed into Mirador, where the resort offers high-end breakfast options. They're gonna offer everything from seasonal fruit and pastries to smoothies, all the way to the other end of the spectrum where you can get a crab omelet. La Casona Bar, we already talked about briefly, is the hacienda-style living room at the top of the resort that faces out across the lawn towards the Pacific views. It's hard to call anything basic at Nekajui. There's nothing that's really basic, but if you could say that, this is going to be the most basic place on the property to just grab a drink and relax. They'll offer some appetizers off of the menu there. Brisa is the pool deck bar. From midday until the stars pop, the attendants are going to be there around, not just in the bar, but kind of walking around the pool deck to make sure you don't need anything. They'll offer everything from frozen cocktails to chips and guac to share. And the vibe there is barefoot Mediterranean meets Guanacaste surf shack. The only thing better than the drinks is the view. You'll recognize Ambar from the postcard perfect pictures on Nekajui's website. This is probably one of the most notable features on the resort. It's basically a treehouse bar that sticks out of the trees off the cliff facing out into the ocean. It's really remarkable. Ambar is only open on the weekends, so it was closed while we were there during the week, but this place is obviously really special. You ready for the next chapter? Once you've tasted Peninsula Papagayo on a plate, it's time now to feel it under your feet. Let's take a look at the adventures here at Nekajui, and then we'll wrap up by looking at the suites. When it comes to opportunities for adventure, you are definitely going to have more opportunities available to you than you're gonna have the time to take advantage of. Just being there at the property provides the opportunity for swimming at the beach, exploring the beach caves, using the resort's snorkeling or paddleboarding gear to explore the cove, biking and hiking on nearby trails. That's just to name a few of the free options there at Nekajui. Palmares Preserve is a 250-acre area surrounding the resort, encompassing 3 distinct ecosystems within 1 square mile. Provides a lot of space to be able to explore. From Nekajui, you're gonna have nearby options for hiking, ziplining, canoeing, surfing, scuba diving, biking, snorkeling, sailing, and golfing on an 18-hole Arnold Palmer golf course. Now, obviously, there's gonna be a whole host of third-party excursion companies that you could reach out to there in the area, but just being there on Peninsula Papagayo is gonna provide you the opportunity to take part in any of their exclusive collection of excursions that they offer through the Explorers program. You could take a look at more details on that here, or you could email the resort's concierge at this email address to get more details or have any of your questions answered. Fifth, let's take a look at the suites, and then we'll put the icing on the cake and give you a view into our experience at Nekajui's Beach Cave. Nekajui has a number of options to look into as it relates to the suites. None of them are going to disappoint. We stayed in the smallest and least expensive option that Nekajui has to offer, and it was stunning. Not only are the rooms gorgeous, all of them with incredible views, but there's only 107 of them. This is a big deal because it means that the place is exclusive. Only 107 rooms means there's just not gonna be a lot of people on this property. That was the experience that we had. Even when we were there just didn't feel like there was a ton of people there. We really felt like we had the place to ourselves in a really significant way. 3 of their suites are unique treetop tents that provide an immersive experience within the tropical forest. If you want a 10-bedroom villa, they have that too. The accommodations are categorized into 3 architectural styles. First is the classic zone. This is the type of room that we stayed in. It features hacienda-style architecture. The transitional zone showcases traditional Guanacaste region architecture, and the organic zone is the high-end treehouse suites. All of the units come with some kind of a balcony or a terrace. There's going to be soaking tubs, Many of them have outdoor showers, plunge pools, every one of them with expansive views. We stayed in a basic room in the classic zone, and here's a quick look around our room. The woodwork is absolutely stunning. It felt spacious without feeling sterile. It was comfortable and warm. Two notes on minor challenges as it relates to the suites. The first is you shouldn't expect to get an upgraded suite just because you're a Marriott Bonvoy Elite member. We are Titanium Elite Bonvoy members and didn't get an upgrade in our stay, and that's because the Ritz-Carlton just typically doesn't pay attention to your elite status. They don't care about your elite status because they're the Ritz-Carlton. They are more elite than you are. Second, when your manzu shows you around your room, you should pay specific attention to the instructions he gives as it relates to the light switches. They're not normal light switches. It's more like a computer control center. And there are motion detectors in the room that will turn the lights on automatically when you get up in the middle of the night, and you may or may not want the lights to come on when you get up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. So pay close attention when your manzu shows you how these light switches work, and that will serve you really well during your stay at Nekajui. Finally, let's put the icing on the cake and give you a tour of the beach cave, show you what our experience there was like. Our favorite part of the resort was by far the beach cave, which is down here at the end of the beach. It really is like something out of a movie. It has the magic to make you feel like a kid. You walk down to the far end of the beach, and here on the left, the cave is right in the side of the cliff. If you catch it at the right time, you'll see why Travel and Leisure called this cave the highlight of their trip. It's actually a bit of a double cave in a sense. There's one entrance from the beach, but it actually lets out to two entrances on the other side of the cliffs. You should plan to use the Surf and Tide app to pay attention in advance to what times during your stay is low tide. This is going to be the best opportunity to see the cave because at high tide, the cave is completely filled with water. Even during our stay, we were there just a bit past low tide as the tide was beginning to come back in, and we did go into the cave and walk around a little bit, but when you hear the roaring crash of the wave slamming into the cave, it's pretty intimidating. We had a blast exploring the caves. If you're planning to stay at Nekajui or anywhere nearby, you'll be flying into Liberia's Guanacaste Airport, and you'll be wondering about arrival, customs, baggage claim, how all of this works. I'd encourage you to check out our video, The Ultimate Guide to Guanacaste Airport. If you're just looking around at luxury resorts in Costa Rica and trying to pick one for your trip, then I'd encourage you to check out our Ultimate Guide to the W Costa Rica. This is our favorite luxury resort in Costa Rica. Either way, have a great trip.